I think Somerville is in this direction here, and as the couple drove up, they bought property up here, and they saw a dead horse right around this area, and started coming up here because this is where their property was, and they named this Dead Horse Road, but it's about half a mile up this road.
Last summer, I had the opportunity to go up to the old Corpsewood Manor in Chattooga County, North Georgia, and the local rumor is that two queer Satanists were murdered here, devil worshippers, back in 1982, and they were also killed alongside their mastiffs. But the real story is a whole lot different and a whole lot more sad. In reality, both of these people were well meaning. You had Dr. Charles L. Scudder, who worked for the Loyola University in Chicago, and he was sort of a biochemist. He had 12,000 doses of LSD, and a lot of people have conjectured he might have been in one of the experimentation trials. I mean, this was going on back in the 1970s, giving people LSD and just seeing how they would react. And he took 12,000 doses, and when he retired in 1977, he and his partner Joey Odom built their own little mansion way back in the woods. And going up there nowadays, it's still very overgrown dirt path to get way up to the top of this mountain. And this is well off the main road. And we passed by a garbage dump, and on the way up, this couple pulls up right next to us. And the guy was missing all of his teeth, and he's in a pickup truck, and he just starts. I couldn't understand what he was saying, and then he pointed to the pile of trash, and I laughed, and my friend kind of shrunk into the background because he was a little bit nervous, and we all laughed, and we were like, thumbs up, and he just drove off. So I figured it was an okay place to be, and we went down the road a little ways until we found the CW boulder, and this CW boulder basically is the road to Corpsewood. And back in the day, they called it Dead Horse Road because Charles Shutter and his partner Joey, they were looking for their property in the backwoods. They see a dead horse on this dirt road. They drive their pickup truck up there with probably just a little bit of supplies in the background. They bought this land up in the woods, and it was their plan because Dr. Shutter was very rich. He was going to use the money that he had in his retirement and just build a secluded mansion out in the middle of nowhere on top of a mountain. But the locals quickly realized that they were flamboyantly gay, and they had two mastiffs, and they lived a very flamboyant lifestyle. And actually, they had a lot of well meaning locals come to them, and they were very well received. They made their own wine, they had parties, they had the so called pink house next door to the main house. And it was well known in the community that if you wanted to get freaky, you could go up there and sleep with these two men. They had orgies, apparently. This is according to the police. And the police, when they were murdered in December of 1982, were kind of feeding into the Satanist rumors. And what I believe happened is that two men went up there to see them because it was widely speculated that these two men had dalliances with Joey Odom and Dr. Charles Scudder, and they felt guilty from it. And this is what often happens with gay bashing or hate crimes. The perpetrator feels guilty about what they've done or their own feelings. So they go up there at night with the goal of killing them, taking their wine, taking their LSD, and actually, one of the perpetrators brought a soldering iron with the plan of torturing them to death, but thank God he didn't really get that far. As I understand it, the murders were not as quick as they could have been, but still fairly quick. But I want to address the belief that they're Satanists, because apparently some of the locals still call this Devil Worshippers Mountain. These men had a big pink gargoyle over the front of their porch. And also they were eccentric, but they lived up in the mountains. If you didn't want to see them, you didn't have to. Don't go drive 10 miles up the mountain and then 5 miles down a back road and then walk a mile to their house. They're well out of the way. But they let their freak flag fly up there. They had a big pink gargoyle. They had like statues of Baphomet, and the temple that they worshipped at, I believe it was called the Satanic Temple. It didn't believe that Satan was a deity to be worshipped. They believed in kind of poking fun at Christianity, and they also believed in kind of submitting or understanding some of the more sexual desires that people have but are often denied by Judeo-Christian religions. And a lot of misconceptions exist around Satanism. It isn't a worship of Satan, usually. I mean, the Temple of Satan or whatever it is, the Anton LaVey Satanists, they are just atheists who exist to advance a political message, and people freak out at them for that, but they see it as a way to kind of snub the church back because they feel often they have been snubbed themselves. In fact, most of the people in Anton LaVey's church, they probably came from an LGBT background. There's been studies that say well over 60% of them are from a queer background. And it's usually because they were kicked out of the mainstream church. I believe Dr. Charles Scudder was himself very Christian. And after this, the locals have been saying, oh, it's haunted, it's devil worshippers, you'll be cursed for life if you take a brick. The story is just two men who wanted to be atheists and have fun up on top of a mountain. They were killed in December of 1982 by prejudiced locals who felt guilty about their own secret gay desires.